And as always, we're going to have Greg give us a thought for the day. Greg, you're up.
Yeah, I was going to talk about determination today, and with some fancy definitions, but I think our speaker today illustrates determination to do the best you can with what you are able to do, and to continue to do that no matter what blocks you from doing it, whether it's physical or political or personal, and go forward with determination to achieve your goals. I know that he has done that, and wife and others, and I'm very much. Uh, I really feel the word determination is a key word in our lives. So, welcome to our speaker and his wife, and to our Kiwanis today. And I must say that I want to congratulate the club for the contribution to Gleaners Food Bank on behalf of those who are so desperate for food right now, and who are in need of SNAP foods. And we stepped up, and our contribution to Gleaners is definitely something we should be very proud of. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. Okay, some announcements. So thank you to everyone who submitted your dues, and if you haven't, please do so. We love your recommitment to a great organization, and we're all about saving children and improving their lives. If you're a past president, be sure to finalize your nominations for career and civic awards by tomorrow. We'll have a social supper in January to honor those recipients like we did last year. We're going to be at George's, which is a great place, great facility, great service, and wonderful food. Chuck Lofton from WTHR, who retired this year, is going to be speaking on the 20th of November, along with the grant recap from Tangram. Dr. Richard Schreiner will speak on the 12th of December from Riley, the Centennial of Historical Marker that was just installed. And it's a kid again to join us for the grant recap. The board has confirmed that we'd like to continue lunches at the Columbia Club on the third Thursday. So we're going to continue as we are. We need to know what topics and issues you'd like us to have people come and present to us. It takes all of us to do this. We do have a committee, but they need ideas too. So give your ideas to us, and we'll make sure that they become reality at some of our meetings for presentations. So on the 12th or the 11th of December, we're going to have a Zoom with Blaine Zimmerman from the Indy Chamber, who will speak about youth talent development and retention, which is right up our alley with improving the lives of children. Roger Iozos, are you on? Yeah. When's the next one?
Yes, Mary, thank you. We've been meeting at Iozos on recently the second Monday of each month for lunch. We're going to try that on a Tuesday for a while, see how that goes, see if that works with more people's schedules. So Tuesday, December 9th, come and join us at Iozos for lunch.
It's fabulous, and of course, it's great people, great food, and a great location. So please join if you can. Okay, Chuck, you're up regarding the football update.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me all right?
We can.
Oh, great. Hi, everyone. 69th Annual Football Lunch is Thursday, December 12th or December 4th at the Colts Gridiron Hall. Tickets are $30, or you can sponsor a table or $200, which includes one ticket. Thanks to Bill Du Bois, who sponsors the awards plaque for every year, and Duke Haddad, who will be sponsoring a table. Registration is live for our website, live on our website at indykiwanis.org/football. The all-city team has been released, and the all-county team will be announced on November 24th. Players and coaches of the year will be recognized at the lunch. And we're working on one of the girls flag football coaches, Lachelle Hatcher, on adding player involvement and announcement of the girls flag Trailblazer Scholarship to be awarded next year on the 26th. Our committee meets on Tuesdays at 9:30 a.m. and is contacting coaches to remind them to nominate players for scholarships. Since 1997, $58,500 has been awarded to 28 academic MVPs, and since 2005, 20 great players have been recognized, and $17,500 has been awarded. So it's a great program. It's a great venue. And if you haven't ever been, you should come because it is a great luncheon. And we're hoping that the new CEO of the Colts will join us, who is, let's see, help me out, Roger. Who is that? It's
Carly
Kaylee.
Ursay-Gordon.
Carly
Oh.
Ursay-Gordon. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you, Kelly.
Well, and if you haven't been to the hall, it's just fabulous because
It is
sometimes
fabulous.
they open the blinds and there's the indoor football field. It's pretty great. So
Yeah,
if
it's
you can
pretty-
make it, it's a wonderful Kiwanis meeting with some fabulous kids, and we always had a great speaker. As the chairman of the foundation, I'd like to give some announcements for little updates for the foundation. So we're on our 75th anniversary of the foundation, and we've provided about another $25,000 in a check for gleaners this year. No child should have to worry about where the next meal comes from. We love gleaners, and a lot of our Kiwanis organizations donate some time over there feeding people. We also want every child to have a joy of opening a gift selected just for them on Christmas. So we're giving $25,000 to the Salvation Army for the Angel Tree and Toy Shop. I did that yesterday at their board meeting. As you know, we've been like twins working with the Salvation Army for so many years. So it's great to do that. On the 13th of December, we will present a $5,000 check at Radiothon. We'll be on the air at 9:30. Thank you for working that out, Kelly, because the 6 a.m. slot was just incredibly hard for me a few years ago. So we'll once be at Sullivan Hardware on Keystone. It's a lot of fun. If you would like to volunteer to bell ring from 8 to 10 a.m. or take pledges on the phone from 9:45 to 2, please let Kelly know. And that too is a lot of fun. You know, I've never seen a hardware store so decorated for Christmas. It's just a blast with a lot of great people there. If you'd like to bell ring, we're once again at the Kroger's at 71st Street and Binford. We're doing it on 3 Fridays, the 5th, the 12th, and the 19th of December. 1 hour slots. You'll not be alone. We always have 2 people there, and it's what we do. After the foundation board meets next week to approve the budget, we will be reaching out and giving 13 grant applicants to inform them that they have been awarded $5,000 each. We've been doing this for a long time, and all of these organizations help serve youth in Marion County. I'd also like to provide an update for Abe Lincoln. We're expecting nominations from schools by the 9th of December. Interviews will be January 10th at Butler. Like last year, Butler is always fabulous. It's a great facility. And then the lunch is at Primo's on the south side on February 13th. And if you've never come to the Abe Lincoln banquet, it is our star program. It is fabulous. Bring tears, because all these kids have overcome so much that we would never believe they've overcome in their short lives. And I encourage everyone to come and bring someone with you because it will be well worth your time. I'm going to hand it over to Steve Farrow now to do a basketball update. And then, Steve, if you could just segue into introducing our speakers, that'd be great.
Sure. Thanks, Mary. So we just heard from the IHSAA this week that they confirmed with Gainbridge when the practice days are at Gainbridge Fieldhouse for the state tournaments. So we are going to have our luncheon for the girls on Wednesday, February 25th. And for the boys, it will be Thursday, March 26th. And I know I was really excited, and I think everybody that was involved was excited when we moved the luncheon back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and having it in that atrium area is just really kind of special. And they actually have state championship banners up in the uh, atrium area if you look way up in the high ceiling. But so that'll be coming. Thanks to our partners, IHSAA, where we have 3 members, and Pacer Sports and Entertainment, where we need a member. So look forward to that. Now I would like to introduce Jeff, Darren Muse and Paula Muse. I met them a couple months ago at the Fishers Rotary meeting, and was fortunate to pick up a copy of
Right on.
the book, and really enjoyed what he had to say, and I know you will as well. His book, Deer Park Ranger, Jeff writes, "You will not care for what you do not know. Start now. Start knowing it. From crawdad creeks and public wildlands to college classrooms and prison gardens, he's worked throughout the United States as an environmental educator, historical interpreter, and park ranger. And we're fortunate to have both of them with us today. McCordsville native, Jeff, I'll let you take it."
Well said. I appreciate the introduction. I guess one thing I could ask right now, I see we're pulling up some images. This is the picture of the book, and certainly it came out in May 2023. Within just a few weeks from that, that's when my brain cancer emerged. So I can't help but share both of it. But I did write that book without any knowledge and understanding of having a cancer, and the book does not pertain to cancer. But inevitably, when I'm teaching or sharing it, we often introduce it right along at the beginning. By chance, did anybody receive the image I sent that showed me in 3 parts: the writer, the author, or rather the hiker, the writer, and the cancer fighter? Do you know what I'm referring to? And if not, I'll share up this guy right here. And let's see. Did that by chance pop in? Might not have gotten these
It's
resources.
right there.
Next one down. There we go.
There it is.
So this tends to be how I introduce myself these days, because they all blend together. So there's Hiker Jeff, or the backcountry ranger. I at that time I'd been working for Bandelier National Monument on a day off, and then the middle picture would have been in, I think it was June 2024. I'd moved back from where we had lived. Paula and I'd been in New Mexico for quite some time. Lived in many places, but we had changed our location. So here I was. I think my first book launch was taking place downtown at one of the bookshops. And then, of course, what's going on the right side there? What do you think? That's cancer treatment. And of course, at that time I was wearing some headgear. I got to wear it for about a year before I had some recurrence. It's helping to keep that growth of that activity in my brain. And I've since been in many other trials and hoping to dive into another one soon. But in my hand there, I have some of the drugs. Which ones would I've had in my hand? I was taking it every temozolomide. And one day I just happened to have the headgear on myself, and I took a picture of it, and I was just like, I guess you can contemplate what I'm thinking there. But then it occurred to me that it was that combination is the hiker, the writer, the cancer fighter. So I thought I'd share that for you to get us rolling. But I also have an introduction. I'm practicing this because you can imagine, as much as I've been battling cancer for 2.5 years, it's considered a terminal cancer. But right now, I'm doing everything I can. Thought I was navigating everything as well as possible, and then more recently, in the past month or so, because I've been through a second trial.
Radiation.
Yeah, radiation. You can see I've had radiation on the side of my head, and it has kind of sunk in. And so it's good for me to practice sharing some of this. It'll repeat a little bit of what we shared. Greetings, I'm Jeff Darren Muse. Along with my marriage to Ranger Paula, most Rangers know me as a fatherless, childless Hoosier who wouldn't and couldn't stay put.
What I mean is, since graduating from DePaul more than 30 years ago, restless and eager to roam, I've worked throughout the United States as an environmental educator, historical interpreter, and park ranger. Most recently, I served in New Mexico, protecting public land. It was the same time Paula was working for the federal government as well. In the summer of 2023, shortly before publishing Dear Park Ranger, Paula and I began a surprising battle with cancer, my cancer. Don't fret, I say. I'm still here, still hiking. Helping me Hoosier, my memoir has been honored by Indiana Authors Awards, Nautilus Book Awards, and Forward Reviews, which deemed it a finalist for a 2023 Indy's Book of the Year award. Today, my book is a part of living and sharing, a route forward, including more writing as I navigate brain fog. I continue to examine the self not only in the context of place and time, but also how cancer creates a new map, a new journey, a new and most unexpected wilderness. So I'm upfront about it. I tend to not only teach openly about the book and everything it represented before the cancer, but it's inevitable to just be honest about what I'm facing now. So there's an introduction for you. Do you have access to my website? I know I passed it along earlier. Do you see a link to jeffdarrenmuse.com? Let's pull that up for a second, if so. Let's see. If my website is available, let's. All right, that's a part of my website. And that looks like, does it link to it? All right, so that's jeffdarrenmuse.com. If you were to slide down, that's the very beginning of it. If you were to hop on my website, you'd have to make sure that welcome page is what you tap into. You can begin to learn a lot about me. I talk about my book very much in this focus. Maybe I mentioned cancer in some portion of this, but if you slide down, share a little bit, you'll see it introduces this book. Please share it with anybody you can. It'll give you the basics. If we slide up, I want to show you how you get access to more pages on this. And so in this case, it's showing. So you can tap on whatever that one is, excerpts, that dive in. Click one of these, for instance, you'll see a sample from the book. If you haven't read it and you think you might want to see an example of the writing, I've taken a little bit out of it, put it in this, and then connected it to others. If you slide down, you'll see that there are links to more and more and more. And one last thing I thought I'd show you, if you go all the way to the top, I think there's one called Praise, all the way to the top. Yeah, Praise. And then slide down Praise, you begin to see where I was collecting. And if we get right where it says author, slide up. There we go. Up a little more. Get near that top again. Okay, hold steady. If we slide to the section that says about a third of the way down, authors. Why don't you say it, Paula? What is that page?
I'm sorry.
All right.
What do you want the page for the?
It's just a little small for me.
Okay.
It's this one right here. Oh, there we go. Slide it down. All right. So if you were exploring and wanted to share more with people about this book and just different interviews that have been done, some might be particular to the book, maybe how the book was honored. And in some books, of course, we just dive into the cancer. And so the one I thought that would be really compelling for you right now, it's about 2.5 minutes long. It's called Author Finds Formula for Living with Deadliest Brain Cancer. It's a video via a next interview. So let's take a look at this. There may have a little bit of a promotion. This is out of ABC 15 in an area where I've done a lot of my work battling cancer.
For 25
See how
magical
so
years,
give it a moment to
Operation
zoom through
Santa
this,
Claus
and then
has
you're
been an
gonna
Arizona holiday
get
tradition.
the 2.5 minute video that has videos, it has
You can
text,
help make this our
ties
biggest year
together the
yet.
writing.
Donate food, clothes, or toys
Well,
at Sanderson Ford, Sanderson Lincoln, and select U-Haul locations. Your donations will help support these 5 local charities. And you could enter to win a new car. Learn more at
Here we go. And you're welcome to
giveToTheClaus.com.
widen it up if you need to.
The souls underneath Jeff Darren Muse have taken him all over the country. He was once a wilderness educator as a park ranger with his wife Paula, And if it's outdoors,
I generally would describe myself as a tree hugger.
that's where Jeff would like to spend most of his days, but recently those hiking boots have left the outdoors for more time here at the Ivy Brain Tumor Center at Barrow Neurological Institution in Phoenix. You see, more than 2 years ago, Jeff was diagnosed with the deadliest form of a brain tumor an adult can get, glioblastoma.
Angry at times, sad at times, fearful at times. I had to wrestle with what felt like life being destroyed.
Fact is, there is not a cure to glioblastoma. Life expectancy after a diagnosis is give or take 15 months. But Jeff had a game plan on how to manage life after a deadly diagnosis.
I've been thinking a lot about that word, stable.
Before the intense headaches led to the MRI's discovery of the tumor, Jeff was writing a now published series of essays about the geography of hope called Dear Park Ranger. In it, he describes his life's mantra through 4 experiences that you have to face to live in the moment. That's agony, endurance, comfort, then pleasure. Little did he know at the time that that was the daily equation that allowed him, in part, to live stably after 2 separate stints with the incurable disease.
As time has gone on, fighting brain cancer, and this would be my recommendation for anyone, is you have to develop a daily focus. I can't quite look at the long horizon. I try not to. I try to focus day by day by day.
His doctor, Nader Sanai, the director at Ivy Brain Tumor Center, says an experimental clinical trial reduced the severity of his second tumor, but Jeff's attitude to fight back plays a key role in his health.
Everyone does better in their health when they're coming in with positive mental energy as well as positive physical energy. And Jeff does that really well.
This may be the toughest mountain Jeff has climbed, but to him, he's happy just to be climbing.
I need to write either an addendum or perhaps that next book. I'm working on it.
Jordan Bonnke, ABC 15, Arizona.
What do you think of that quick interview? It was done, I think it was in July, and I was still in that clinical trial. I would have been involved in that clinical trial at least until August. And then by the time we entered into basically assessing that I'd had regrowth, I had to dive into another, I guess, radiation and drugs. And that ended in September 12th. And so I've kind of still in that stretch where I am not under any new program until roughly December 5th, I think. But right now we're researching next steps. And I had very much in mind to do what I said at the end of that tale right there, that I would continue to write. I'd continue to pass on, but who knew what brain fog could do to you? So what you guys are helping me do is to keep sharing, keep passing on what I'm reading. So I think next steps would be what?
Why don't you read, hon?
You want me to read an example of what I just had? And so if you by chance get a chance to look at the book, particularly a short essay, it's called, let's slide down a little bit. There we go. And you're welcome to pull that up. I can read from exactly what you all have up. If you want to make that big, go ahead. The moon, there we go. Pull that up and we'll use that. Or I can read from mine. I have that set up. This is the beginning of the book. I just happened to put it on the page, Dear Park Ranger. And of course, the first essay that I want to pass on to you comes from about a third of the way of the book. It's called The Moon, the River, a Best Friend. August 28th, 2007, Skagit River, Washington. Ned and I started paddling at 4 o'clock this afternoon. An upriver wind chafed our faces as the milky green melt of 400 glaciers carried us downstream. We meandered 25 miles from Rockport, under concrete's still tinkered toy, the Dalles Bridge, then beyond the bluffs of Cape Horn, where Skagit doubles back for a horizon-wide view of craggy Sauk Mountain, named for the Saku Mahu tribe. Late summer withers the peak's avalanche chutes, tawny meadows, a hint of gold. Several miles later, at the old ferry crossing in Birdsview, we pulled ashore on this gravel bar, its beach woven with polished rocks and piles of bark-stripped logs. We ate cold pizza and watched the sunset. No tent, no hassle. The dew is falling thick and fast, smearing these few words. Rising through the cottonwoods, a full moon cast the sand and driftwood around this camp in a shadow carving glow. We settled into our sleeping bags on a plastic tarp, curling the edges to protect our gear. It's no use. We know we'll wake up soaked. It'll be sunny tomorrow, Ned says, his last words for the night. Then I zip my bag around my body, the scrape of nylon giving way to water sounds, to rolling waves and eddies curling across the shoreline. The moon, the river, a best friend, what feels like a best friend. Within weeks, he'll be gone, back to Idaho, back to Driggs. It'll actually snow there, he once told me. Here on this valley bottom, it mostly rains, and Ned doesn't like rain. We're on our way to Skagit Bay, or so we tell ourselves. Come morning, stocking caps on, we'll shake upon the dawn wet chill like French Canadian voyageurs, taking breakfast after an hour or two in the canoe. Ned's got the cold. Paula, I'm going to let you take over right here.
Ned's got the broad shoulders of an athlete, though not from gym weights or ball fields, but from mountaintops, sheer cliffs, places I don't go. He may not know it, but I'm giddy, thrilled that the paddle in his hands is adventure enough for his days off. I supervise him at work, but rarely does it feel like that. I hired him, I told my boss, because this place needs a Ned. Our plan came together only last night as our schedules and aspirations aligned for the first time this summer. We're thriving on the spontaneity of the trip, the uncertainty around each bend. A quick journey, I promised my wife. She shoved us off, waved. All told, we'll cover some 70 miles from my house in Rockport to the Skagit Delta on Puget Sound. If the wind and tides will let us, if our backs hold out, we'll hit saltwater by early evening tomorrow. Thanks to her cell phone, a friend from headquarters will meet us wherever we end up. Mount Vernon, Fur Island, the Swinomish Channel, and LaConner. Just call me, she said. I've got a truck. Plenty of room.
But Ned and I agree about paddling, about life. We want the sea. We want what glaciers want. We want as far as we can go.
Nice. Well done.
Thanks for helping me get through that.
Yeah.
Open to you all. What would you like to ask a question about? Again, I'm a hiker, a writer, a cancer fighter. I think you saw a bit of what I'm wrestling against right now, and you have the honor to bring me on and keep plugging away as best I can, facing what I got going on in my brain right now.
What's been your best hiking experience?
Oh gosh. I mean, do you mean I've liked different locations at different times of year all over the country. But the way I look at things right now, I am so thankful that I'm physically able to continue hiking. So for instance, one thing I'll be doing, if not today, tomorrow, we have a friend coming all the way from Dayton, Ohio. She's driving 200 miles or whatever to come visit me. And then we're hiking just nearby at Fall Creek Woods. And so that'll be a special moment. My concept of what is the right place to be and what am I doing, that's been shifting. I'm very grateful to physically be so active.
It sounds like your hiking is part of your health therapy to get you through this turmoil.
Oh, you tell me. I once maybe had that introduction where it says hiker, writer, cancer fighter. There might have been a brief time when I had it as Riker, a writer, hiker, cancer fighter, and I just kept chewing on this, and I said, what matters most is that I'm physically moving. I'm not quite sure what things will be like beyond this, but right now I stay physically very active.
With your physical health and your issues, do you find it, and it may be equal, more rewarding personally to hike alone and solo with your thoughts or with friends and family?
That's a good question. They both have their purpose. I mean, for instance, as my wife and I battle this challenge, we learn I'm more of an introvert and Paul is more of an extrovert. Extrovert. But nonetheless, she definitely needs time to interact with lots of people, and it's part of what sustains her. I have found me almost retreating more into some isolation, and it's particularly in nature. I'm not a necessarily praying, but certainly it's a space where I am just relaxing as much as possible and being as grateful as possible for what I have right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? Again, they could be hiker, writer, cancer fighter. Oh, if somebody's talking, they've got it covered.
Greg,
Craig.
you're on mute, Greg.
Greg, you're on mute. You have
I'm
to,
on
there you go.
Greg Silver. There we go. I wanted to say that I find that walking in the woods, like we're going to walk at Fall Creek, there's you listen to the birds, you realize the stress is out there, but you can get away from it's an example for all of us to get away from the problems that we face on a daily basis. And I've been doing that for years, and I know you have. I think it's extremely important to protect the natural areas and the sound and the light pollution and whatnot, so that we can have something in our heads other than money and fear of some political issues. That it seems like to me, moving in the woods and looking to the yellow warbler or whatever, to me is very, very reduces stress.
You
No
know,
matter what we're doing.
and I would help people understand. I've been able to live around the country. Paula has too, and I'm thankful for the many places we have lived. They all have their highs and lows. There's no perfect spot. You can have your favorite one for some reason or another, but we've learned to love many places and many people. And I never left Indiana so much so that I disliked Indiana. I mean, maybe politically it's driving me bonkers, but certainly when I was growing up in the early 90s, I just had that itch. I just needed to roam. I needed to experience other places. And I also needed to experience places that were perhaps left undeveloped as much as possible.
Yeah, and when we were teaching in the North Cascades, one thing we would tell the kids is just this place is really special, and we do need large pieces of protected lands for many reasons, which I'm sure you all know already. But the parks that are within walking distance or within biking distance or even a short drive are as important, because they're little pearls on a necklace, if you will. And each of us can get and experience one of those pearls, but they're also really important, like you said, Mr. Silver, for warblers, for other species. So though it is really important for localities to protect small places. And Fall Creek Woods, if you were to, it's
80 acres.
It's 80 acres. It's so important though, because it's hooked it's right near Fall Creek. It's along a green space. I mean, it's just
close to home.
It's incredible. And to be able to go back and see it season after season, week after week, and to see the changes in the landscape as well as ourselves.
Thank you. Yeah. I know Bandolier, and I know the Bandolier and everywhere that you've been is fantastic stuff. But we have something really wonderful here with our greenways in the Fall Woods, Fall Creek. Yeah.
Yes.
Other questions, be they, again, related to hiking or riding or cancer fighting, I don't mind sharing at all.
I have a question. Speaks as someone who can't stay still either. I'm on a stationary bike right now.
Yeah,
So,
I was wondering what was going on there. That's okay. Now we understand.
just talking local, um, what would be maybe your top five state parks in Indiana? And then in the Hoosier National Forest, here's a list of all the trails in the Hoosier National Forest. Are you familiar with the trails there? And
My hunch is, so I took off from Indiana when I was 21, getting out from, not that I haven't come home to visit family, but for the most part, I've been living and working. I'm 56 now, so I've been living most of my life elsewhere. And so I would lean on you to help teach me, show me where do I need to go to explore more of this. I may be knowledgeable about many places, but Indiana is one of them. I need to keep investigating, keep exploring. What I most appreciate about here and get drawn to is just the seasonal change. It's if you're out here hiking as much as I do, and Paula does, we've just really taken in the daily, certainly weekly change of a landscape, and that's very special. And so, I always, if you read my book or maybe even just the promo, you'll hear me talk a lot about creeks. You hear me talk a lot about wildlands or woods. I'm really just drawn to any habitat that kind of includes that. It's a bit different. Let's say when we were in Phoenix for my clinical trial, or back when I was a ranger, a bandolier, different landscapes, beautiful and meaningful to me, but they're not necessarily built the same as here. It's just I appreciate whatever we have preserved or whatever we have restored. But right now, I'm really been getting to know Fall Creek itself, not just the Fall Creek Woods area, but just the area as it travels along to connect with White River.
yeah, I know not too far away in northern Shelby County, there is an old growth forest. It's I think it's 60 acres called the Meltzer Woods.
Yeah,
And
I've heard of it.
I haven't been there yet, but one of my favorite experiences is in southern Indiana at Pioneer Mothers, because that's an old growth forest.
Yeah.
And it's so neat when you walk in, the canopy's way up high and there are no little saplings. So I just think that's a neat experience.
That's well described. Yeah. And I would say you're welcome to connect with me and share resources for us to explore. I'm using hiking not just to stay healthy, but just emotionally. We're spending a lot of time together, and this is where home is until we have to hop on the plane and fly somewhere else.
Eagle Creek Park is a great amenity here. Eagle Creek Park, 8,000 acres, some of it's wilderness, and on the northern side, as Steve
Yeah,
mentioned,
I took that
that's another
northern side.
place of quiet. But interestingly, it always takes someone or some group to stop or modify different. So your involvement for the government may not, well, the community groups or the individuals that set up the wilderness area in southern Indiana or protected Eagle Creek from being a gravel mine, it always takes a few people or one person to make a difference sometimes. So I know that'd be your message to us. You can always do something. We can sit here and talk about how beautiful the bluebirds are, but you got to protect that habitat. And but I would recommend Eagle Creek Park. The Monon is more crowded, but it's still beautiful over the White River. All those had something to do with a person or persons that said, we're going to preserve it and we're going to protect it, or we're going to litigate about it. And it made a difference wherever you have been and wherever I've been, wherever we can. Yeah. It takes a family, a community, to step up and say, this has to be protected. That's all.
Paul, a question for you. This is Roger. Are you from Indiana as well?
No.
No. Whereabouts?
I'm from, I was born in Connecticut, but I grew up in Washington State.
Okay. And what took you both to the forestry, the ranger trek?
How much time you got?
Luck.
Yeah,
I
share.
got all day. I'm retired.
Yeah, you read early in my book. You're going to hear me interpreting Paula's story, whether it was fully accurate. Go ahead and share what drew you there.
I was a volunteer for a year with the National Park Service in the summertime with an organization called the Student Conservation Association, and I fell in love with it.
Mid-80s, yeah.
And
Yeah.
85, yeah. I fell in love with it and the people who I worked with. And the following season, because I was a student, I was hired as a student hire. So those seasons were about 90 to 120 days long. And then I would go back to school, or I was a teacher in Texas. I was a nanny for a year, trying to get residency in order to go to grad school in Bellingham. And then once I got that degree, then I was able to get a permanent job at North Cascades.
Yeah, so she would be an example of someone who spent a lot of time starting out as a
Seasonal.
seasonal, but then how many years were you a seasonal?
9 years.
Yeah, so a lot of people needed to understand it took time, and you had to piece together other jobs in between. We lived a simpler lifestyle perhaps back then we could, and that was always what we both sought. We've always been a couple that saved money whenever we came across it. We invested it well, and then we lived as simply as we could to keep pursuing this kind of career.
Yeah. Well, she
Sometimes
seems to be a
simple is
very good
best.
support
Yeah.
for you. Thank you. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I was just going to say sometimes simple is best. You get to enjoy everything else instead of worrying about payments and whatever. So thank you. Well, thank you for being with us today, both of you. We certainly appreciate your time, and you're definitely talented. You've written a book and all your experiences. The Kiwanis Foundation is going to make a donation in your honor to A Kid Again. They bring hope and happiness through cost-free adventures where children with life-threatening conditions and their families can laugh, connect, and feel normal again. Thank you so much for being with us again. We certainly appreciate your time. Next week, just a reminder, we're going to have Chuck Lofton. We'll be at the Columbia Club. And if you haven't already registered, please let Kelly know that you're going to be there. It's going to be fabulous because, we all know and love Chuck Lofton. So until that time, we are adjourned. Thank you so much for everyone attending. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Mary, could I say one thing to our guests?
Yes.
Thank you so much for inspiration today, and Steve for having them on. Steve, maybe you and I or others might be able to walk with them a little bit sometime at Eagle Creek. Time you want to set that up, I'm willing to do that. Okay, I know it pretty well. We just did a documentary. We're doing a documentary on all the aspects of Eagle Creek, including the mound people and the feedbacks and the many users. I was involved with that Lilly Foundation. It's going to be on PBS soon, but I thought maybe if there was a chance we could, we might be able to join you sometime. We won't say much. We'll just be real quiet. But I would like Steve and I are kindred spirits for sure. Not that everyone else isn't, but let us know, and he knows how to find us. So funny. Thank you for
good for the soul. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's for our souls. And Paula, thank you so much for I know the support you're giving him right now.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Keep on keeping on. That's one of my philosophies. Keep on keeping on.
Yep.
Thank you. We are adjourned.
All right. Take
All
care.
right.